130 earlier, you said?
Yeah, I go 130, 140, 120.
Good evening. Our big story tonight at 10, Governor Ducey signing an executive order that makes it clear no one is above the law, and certainly not elected officials. This order is in reference to Republican State Representative Paul Mosley, who bragged on police body camera, which you just saw, about being allowed to speed.
Public records show he's been stopped for speeding 6 times, getting off with a warning in each case. But those days are over, or are they?
Team 12's Bianca Buono is verifying whether or not the governor can issue an order like this. Bianca?
Well, Mark Caribe, legislative immunity is written into Arizona's constitution. So can Governor Ducey issue an executive order saying lawmakers can actually be cited? We're verifying.
97 is absolutely not.
This exchange between State Representative Paul Mosley and a La Paz County deputy going viral.
You were driving 130 earlier, you said?
Yeah, I go 130, 140, 120.
Mosley seemingly bragging about how reckless he drives, walking away without a speeding ticket. All because of this constitutional provision giving Arizona lawmakers immunity during a legislative session. It reads in part, members of the legislature shall be privileged from arrest in all cases except treason, felony, and breach of the peace.
The purpose, you just can, so you do?
This video prompting Governor Ducey to step in, signing this executive order, saying lawmakers like Mosley are not above the law. But can he do that? Ducey not changing the law, but instead clarifying what falls under legislative immunity. The document saying criminal speeding, reckless driving, and driving under the influence all categorized as a breach of the peace. The Department of Public Safety telling 12 News DPS troopers can now ticket or arrest anyone, even a legislator during a session. In a statement, Arizona's Attorney General Mark Brnovich saying Governor Ducey has broad authority to issue executive orders and to direct his agencies to follow the law. So 12 News can verify that yes, Ducey's executive order is constitutional, and no, lawmakers cannot recklessly speed without consequences.
And this executive order only talks about state law enforcement officials, but the governor is encouraging all agencies to adopt this policy. Guys, back over to you.